Hello, dear friends. Welcome to another study of the book Green Light by the Spirit Andrea Luis through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. What a blessing to be with you today. Whether you're watching this live or on demand, welcome. Remember, you can always make sure you pass these teachings along so that other people can benefit from it as well, from the words of Andrea Luis. Today's chapter is titled Introducing People. This book is very unique, friends, because it gives us practical, day-to-day tips on how to do things in a way that will improve ourselves and promote our growth. So have you ever thought about how should we be behaving when we meet someone, when we introduce someone to a friend or colleague, when we encounter certain people in our paths to work, in public transit, even when we're driving to our destinations? Andrea Luis will give us very specific ways, very practical ways that we can go about our day, being a little bit better today than we were yesterday. So he starts by saying, when you are introduced to someone, do not announce your titles or qualifications. However, if you are introducing someone, it is fair to present her or his merits without exaggeration. So when we meet someone, sometimes we are rushed to enunciate and declare to the world what our titles, qualifications, and autobiographical details are. He's saying, no, do not announce these titles. But if you're introducing someone, bring up their merit without exaggerating. After all, our titles and qualifications, professions, and activities are ways for you and I to contribute to the betterment of the world. They're not our essence. They're not who we are as eternal spirits, right? So next time you meet someone, refrain from blurbing out loud the titles and qualifications you have. And then if you're introducing someone to someone else, if you're then you can give this person value without exaggerating their contributions as well. So about humbleness here. He will continue. In the presence of any negative remark concerning people who are absent, let us remember to be respectful and differential towards them. Very important. How many times we are talking to someone, we meet someone, and that person or even ourselves bring up a negative remark about someone who is not present for that conversation. He says, Andrea Luis says, be respectful and differential, because what I think happened may be different from the perspective of that person, and it's not fair to them that we're talking behind their backs because they're not there to bring up their perspective or even defend themselves, right? Would you like, and we always go back to this, if you are absent from a conversation, would you like someone else to be talking about you without you being there to explain your situation? No. Therefore, we do not do that to other people. It's always possible to find something good in someone or in something in order to make a constructive remark. So here's the antidote to the problem. The problem is we talk behind people's backs. We make a negative remark about someone who's not there. Then what can you do if you're on the receiving end of that conversation. You say, find something good in that person and remind the other party on the conversation that they're not here to defend themselves, and that's may not be my experience with them. This is what good they did to me or to someone else. We can always say it's always possible to find something good in someone. In other words, it's never impossible to discover something good about them. It's always possible. And then he will give us examples of situations that can happen in our lives. He says, any person facing difficulties, asking you for a favor, is a test of your capacity of understanding and your gifts of education. A beggar on your pathway today might be someone who perhaps you need to ask for support tomorrow. The unprotected child who crosses your way in the street is not the reason for revolt or desperation, but an appeal for us to work harder with love for a better world. It's not worth reprimanding a drunkard as he or she knows that they are sick and unhappy. Here are true examples of things that could happen. Someone comes to you and asks for help. Then it's testing your capacity for understanding. A beggar asks you for something. What if you are the one who is in an unfortunate position of penury tomorrow and you have to be asking for help? Because we always see ourselves helping, but we have to be humble to understand sometimes we need help. And sometimes there are unprotected children, homeless children, maybe not in the US, but in other places around the world. And those are asking us, that is an appeal to work harder to better the world a lot around us. Harder, not just harder, but harder with love. And we will continue. Every time we emphasize evil, even unconsciously, we are destroying goodness. So when we focus on the negative, when we criticize, we're destroying the good that is inside that person. That does not mean we're going to condone a negative behavior, but we will refrain from being the ones destroying the goodness in others, always emphasizing the potential they have to do the good. Do not criticize, help. Because again, when we criticize, we're focusing and emphasizing the lack of good, therefore destroying the potential for good. And last but not least, it says, to any kind of suffering, it is always possible to give a little relief or support. And in the Portuguese, he used the words crumbs. It's always, for any type of suffering, it's possible to give crumbs of relief or support. Crumbs, the words the superior spirits use are very important, because crumb is always a little piece. You're eating the bread and the little crumbs are around the table. Those little small pieces. To us, they're crumbs, but to someone else, they can be the relief, or it can be the support that grants us the strength to not quit, to continue undergoing the difficulties and the challenges and the trials, and the learning lessons, so on and so forth. We have so much that is so important that we give what is not necessary for our lives to benefit and to help the lives of others. It says, even when such help or such crumb is only a smile of sympathy and understanding. So in every occasion, we can do two things based on this chapter. Focus on the good, de-emphasize the lack of good, the imperfections that we still have. Because remember, every time we criticize, may we not forget that we also have our own imperfections to work on. So whether you are being introduced to someone new and you have the possibility of distributing the little crumbs of a smile, of a good presence, of joy, focus on the good. That goes hand in hand with the teachings of Emmanuel, because this book is by André Luiz, through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. Then we have the book Foreign Life by Emmanuel, chapter 10, Understanding. It says, seek the good, feel the good, visualize the good, and mold the good. I'm paraphrasing here with all the resources that we have at hand. Dear friends, I hope the little crumbs that I've spread out here today, the wisdom of André Luiz can be felt in our daily activities. Practical tips for a better living is the book Green Light. Remember, we are making an analogy of the semaphore. The green light is do the good, do the good. The red light is evil. If you see something that is not good, we stop. We proceed with caution, and we use the words of superior spirits and the blessings they've given us through the mediumship of Francisco Candido Xavier. Then, if we use those examples and those words of wisdom, we can create a better life for ourselves today and in the future. Thank you so very much, friends, for joining me. Remember to share this with others so they can also benefit from the teachings we have received from the superior spirits. And until next time, many, many blessings. Stay well, stay safe.